Hello there, my name's David Allen. I'm a Master of Wine and I'm here in Bordeaux looking at the 2025 vintage. So I'm currently in Margaux, I'm at Chateau Palmer, third growth, and I'm looking at their first wine. So Palmer sometimes produces wines that are more on the structured side of Margaux, but in 2025 an estate that's really focused on the lovely vivacity of the Merlot it's produced. And this year, the Grand Vin is actually predominantly Merlot. There's 55% of Merlot in the blend, with 41% of Cabernet Sauvignon, and then the remainder is Petit Verdot. So looking at it, we've got a wine that's deep and dark. It's not quite opaque, but certainly all that sort of Cabernet and Petit Verdot is giving it a good depth to the colour. Swirling it, the wine has some good viscosity. It's 13.5% alcohol, so not particularly high. So that will be the tannins as much as anything producing that density there. So let's see if we make the aromas, shall we? The aromas really do point to that sort of lovely, expressive Merlot that is here. It's quite a sort of a rich yellow coming from fine gravel and clay sites. And so it's sort of developing more of a sort of dark fruit. There's a compote of ripe plum, ripe red to black cherry, maybe a little bit of Loganberry in there. And all that's beautifully interwoven with just some very delicate hints of oak just starting to show themselves there. A little bit of toastiness, perhaps some chocolatey notes, and slight notes of cedar. Just for taste. This really is a wine that's running at the edge of almost slightly overripe, as if it's heading towards a sort of a savoury note, but actually being pulled back by a lovely, fresh acidity that really is enlivening the fruit. And just when you think you're getting to a note where there's the sort of the richness of raisined fruit, it pulls itself back into a more sort of purple fruit, more sort of dams, and the freshness really comes through. And then on the finish, the wine resolves into a much more sort of black fruit, notes of cassis, notes perhaps of Loganberry, and that's a lovely, long, elegant finish. I didn't mention the tannins. I didn't mention them because they're so lovely and smooth. There's a real density. This is a medium to full-bodied wine, but those are fine, they're supple, there's a sort of a chocolatiness to them, little hints of vanilla that just give almost sort of slight sweetness there, and making the mid-palate very attractive. It works very well with the sort of the high ripeness, red to black fruit that's sitting there. But the lasting impression I've got is that it's long finish and lovely mouth-watering nature. Like many of the 2025s, there's a really clean mineral acidity. It's giving a freshness to the finish. This is an impressive wine. It clearly has the density and the acidity to support that density. And I'm sure this is a wine that will age for 20, 30 years very happily. Having said that, given the fact that this is quite a big and well-structured wine, I also think the suppleness of the tannins, their roundness, there's no bitterness, there's no astringency in these, is likely to make this a wine that will be quite approachable from quite an early stage of its development. I wouldn't be surprised to find that after 4 or 5 years in bottle, this is a wine that's showing some very attractive drinking at that stage. So thank you so much for watching. I do hope you've found the video of interest. If you have, do press the like button. That would be fantastic. Now, I am in Bordeaux for the next week, and I'm trying to find as many of the most exciting, captivating, great value, innovative wines to try and to share with you. So do please consider subscribing to our YouTube channel, setting yourself an alert and following what we're doing there. I'll leave a link in the notes to the page on the winesearcher website where you can find this wine, and that way you'll be able to follow that and see when it becomes available, who's selling it. You can use the tabs on that page to look at the wine's price history to see where the pricing fits in with what's available in the market already. Personally, I think winesearcher is an invaluable tool when you're trying to buy enprimeur. I wouldn't consider doing it without reference to winesearcher. So thanks again for watching, and I do hope that you'll join us very soon. Till then, bye for now.